Here are the top stories for today, March 13, 2020. Malacanang and other government offices undergo disinfection. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia imposes a temporary travel restriction on the Philippines amid the spread of COVID-19. Workers living in Metro Manila's nearby provinces will be allowed to enter the region upon presentation of valid identification cards. And a digitalized Earth Hour campaign was launched for the protection of the environment. Good day, I'm Bench Bondok. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. We begin with the developments on the coronavirus outbreak following the declaration by President Rodrigo Duterte of a community quarantine in Metro Manila. Government offices undergo disinfection to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Other preventive measures being eyed are virtual and online communications with their respective stakeholders. William Theo has our top story.
Malacanang underwent cleaning and disinfection on Thursday as part of precautionary measures amid the threat of the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19. The Presidential Security Group disinfected the premises of Malacanang Palace to ensure that President Rodrigo Duterte is protected against COVID-19. PSG Commander Colonel Jesus Durante III clarified that there will be no lockdown of Malacanang Palace. Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar also ordered the disinfection of the press working area and the press briefing area located at Malacanang's new executive building. Andanar floated the possibility of having virtual press briefings to ensure that the regular press conferences would not be disrupted. The Department of Energy also closed down its headquarters in Bonifacio Global City on Friday to undertake cleaning and disinfecting amid the coronavirus disease 2019 outbreak. In a statement Thursday, the DOE said stakeholders may get in touch with the department for official business matters through email and official contact numbers. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives headquarters at the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City underwent cleaning and disinfection procedures starting Friday until Sunday, March 15. The Senate building in Pasay City went on lockdown starting Thursday after a resource person who attended a recent hearing tested positive for COVID-19. The head office of the Government Service Insurance System in Pasay City was closed on Thursday following the confirmed case at the Senate. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board also suspended work in its central office in Quezon City. LTFRB National Capital Region Office and Regional Franchising Regulatory Offices. Other government offices that announced suspension of work to give way for disinfection include the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Department of Finance, Philippine National Railways, and National Economic and Development Authority. For the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo.
In related news, the Philippine National Police is now on full alert status following President Duterte's declaration of a community quarantine. In an advisory, all police regional offices may raise their alert levels depending on the severity of the COVID-19 threat in their areas. Community quarantine will be enforced through checkpoints and other lawful means in coordination with local government units, starting from the barangays and other agencies. Code Red Sub-Level 2 was earlier raised due to the increasing number of COVID-19 cases in the country, as recommended by the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines said it is ready to support the PNP in implementing the community quarantine in Metro Manila. AFP Chief of Staff General Felimon Santos Jr. said different units were directed to prepare contingency measures to make this possible without compromising the AFP's peace and security operations. He added the AFP will stay ready to better assist the Department of Health and other government agencies through the Interagency Task Force in preventing the spread of COVID-19. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte and Chinese ambassador to the Philippines, Wang Xilian, on Wednesday stressed the need for the Philippines and China to work together to fight COVID-19. In a courtesy call on Duterte at Malacanang, Wang expressed solidarity with the Philippine government in its efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19. The ambassador also conveyed China's readiness to extend assistance. For its part, Malacanang said Duterte extended sympathies to Chinese nationals affected by the continuing COVID-19 threat. Duterte also extended his condolences to the families of around 20 people who died after a quarantine facility in Quanzhou, Fujian province collapsed last week. The palace, meantime, said Wang expressed confidence that the Philippines will emerge victorious in fighting COVID-19, considering Duterte's strong leadership and the help of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. In China, the envoy said President Xi Jinping is taking rigorous epidemic control measures to contain the spread of the virus outside the country. The Department of Foreign Affairs on Friday confirmed that a female Filipino diplomat tested positive for COVID-19. DFA Assistant Secretary Eduardo Menez said a diplomat at the Philippine mission to the United Nations in New York has tested positive for the virus. Reports said the diplomat attended a meeting at the UN headquarters on Monday for about half an hour and began showing symptoms on Tuesday. He said this prompted the shutdown of the Philippine Center in New York, where several government offices are housed, including the Philippine mission. In a prior tweet, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. said the diplomat is now doing well. Meanwhile, the Philippine Consulate General in New York also suspended its consular operations until further notice. Consulate General officers and staff will self-quarantine for the protection of the community. President Duterte's future trips abroad are suspended as a precaution against COVID-19. Meanwhile, an employee of the House of Representatives tests positive for the virus. More on this from Joyce Cudis.
President Rodrigo Duterte's future foreign travels have been suspended in a bid to protect him from being infected with the 2019 coronavirus disease. The Presidential Security Group on Thursday said the suspension came following the recommendation of the Department of Health. Prior to the PSG's announcement, Duterte revealed that he intends to visit Crete, one of the countries with confirmed COVID-19 cases, to personally ask the Kuwaiti government to impose maximum penalty on the killers of Filipino domestic worker Jenaline Villavente. Duterte's scheduled trip to Boracay on Thursday was also moved to another date amid concerns over the outbreak in the country. Meanwhile, Supreme Court Chief Justice Diosdado Peralta ordered all courts to be careful against COVID-19. In an administrative circular, all first at second level courts and personnel to implement safety measures against COVID-19. Those attending court hearings will report their contact and travel details, while inmates are sent back to their prisons immediately. Bundy clogs, doorknobs, handrails, tables, elevator buttons, toilet bowls, and other items will also be sanitized. The Chief Justice also told court employees to practice hygiene and undergo checkups if they experience symptoms. In other news, an employee of the House of Representatives has tested positive for COVID-19. The employee from printing services has been reported sickly and had been frequently hospitalized. While they have no travel history to COVID-affected countries, they were recently confined for having community-acquired pneumonia. Health officials have initiated contact tracing, while other employees are told to undergo self-quarantine. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Cudis.
Still to come, workers living in Metro Manila's nearby provinces will be allowed to enter the region upon presentation of valid identification cards. And the Trade and Industry Department imposes a nationwide price freeze on basic necessities. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa matinding laban natin sa Coronavirus Disease 2019, sugpuin din natin ang pagkalat ng fake news. Huwag magbahagi ng impormasyon na hindi tiyak ang pinagmulan. I-check mabuti ang source ng balita. Kumuha lamang ng impormasyon mula sa mga official channel ng Department of Health. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Pangalagaan ang sarili laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Hanggat maaari, umiwas sa mataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang ilong at bibig, maging malinis sa katawan at ugaliin ang wastong paghuhugas ng kamay. Takpan ang ilong at bibig kung uubo o babahing. Umiwas sa mga taong nagpapakita ng sintomas ng coronavirus disease gaya ng lagnat, ubo at sipon. Magsuot ng face mask kung kinakailangan. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nogales on Friday clarified that the term community quarantine is the more appropriate term to describe the government's latest move to contain the spread of COVID-19. This as panic struck Metro Manila residents as several media firms labeled the recent government pronouncement as a lockdown. The term lockdown generally means a state of isolation or restricted access instituted as a security measure, which was implemented in Wuhan, China and Italy, where a sudden spike in the number of COVID-19 cases and deaths was recorded. Meanwhile, community quarantine refers to restricting movements in an area that might have been exposed to infection without necessarily saying that the residents there are sick. Nogales stood to clarify that the president only made a comment about the word lockdown being used by the media, but he actually meant that the measure is like a lockdown. He likewise urged the media to be careful in its information dissemination as there can be changes with the guidelines any day.
This is not a lockdown kasi iba yung connotation ng lockdown eh. Pag sinasabi mong lockdown, ang daming interpretation eh. Hindi naman siya a technical meaning. But if you say quarantine, may technical medical meaning po yan. And that's why we avoided using the word lockdown. Kasi ang imagination ng iba, pag lockdown, wala nang cargo, wala nang papasok na food supplies, kaya na nagpapanik. So deliberately, we don't use the word lockdown because kung ano-anong lumalabas sa social media na ibig sabihin ng quote-unquote lockdown.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the latest addition to the countries that have imposed temporary travel restrictions on the Philippines amid the fast-spreading coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 worldwide. In an advisory dated March 12, the Philippine Consul General in Jeddah announced that Saudi Arabia expanded its temporary travel suspension to several countries, including the Philippines. The travel restrictions also include all European Union member states. Excluded from the travel ban are health workers returning from the Philippines and India and evacuation shipping and trade trips. Health workers returning to the kingdom will be subjected to a special medical evaluation upon their return and are further advised to coordinate with their respective employers prior to their return. The consulate also reminded all Filipinos concerned that transportation through all land borders with Jordan is also suspended except for humanitarian cases as well as commercial and cargo traffic. An important heads up for employees, workers living in Metro Manila's nearby provinces who will be affected by community quarantine measures will be allowed to enter the region upon presentation of valid identification cards. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año made a clarification following President Rodrigo Duterte's order to suspend land, domestic air, and sea travel to and from Metro Manila starting March 15. Año said the Department of Labor and Employment will coordinate with the private companies for possible work adjustments to lessen those coming in and out of Metro Manila. He also reiterated there is no total lockdown but just restriction of movement in Metro Manila to stop the spread of the virus. Meantime, public land transportation to and from Metro Manila will still be available, but the Department of Transportation will issue guidelines to ensure that stringent social distancing is observed. Transportation of goods and travels will also remain normal. Members of the media and those who need to undergo medical treatment and operation would be allowed to enter the region. The Department of Trade and Industry on Thursday announced a nationwide price freeze on basic necessities amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Republic Act 7581 states that prices of basic necessities shall be frozen at their prevailing prices for 60 days or until sooner lifted by the President whenever there is a declaration of a state of emergency, calamity, or other similar conditions. Proclamation 922, which puts the country under a state of public health emergency due to the COVID-19 outbreak, triggered the implementation of a nationwide price freeze. Business establishments will violate the price freeze shall be imposed with a fine amounting to 5,000 pesos up to 1 million pesos and or imprisonment for a period of 1 year up to 10 years. Consumers are enjoined to report business establishments that sell basic necessities beyond the price freeze by calling the 1DTI or 1384 hotline or sending an email to consumercare@dti.gov.ph. In Dumaguete City, victims of shooting incidents have started to come out in the open to seek justice for their slain loved ones. Amid complaints of perceived slow progress in cases, Vice Mayor Alangel Cordova said 44 families have so far come out and expressed willingness to organize as one so they will have the courage to ask for updates on their cases. Of the 44 cases, only 3 cases have reached the courts, while the rest were either dismissed for lack of evidence or no evidence at all. Some of the families claimed being given a runaround when they asked for updates from the police regarding case investigation. With this development, the Office of the Vice Mayor initiated moves to gather all the families of the victims to know from them the background of their cases for possible legislative action. This is to find ways and means to address lapses in the investigation. From 2016 up to the present, more than 800 were victims of shooting incidents and other crimes all over the province, 76 of them in Dumaguete. Most of the cases involve riding in tandem wearing helmets and jackets. Some provinces are now disinfecting and implementing measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus disease 2019. Our Janice Cave has the story.
In Zamboanga City, the Interagency Task Force on Coronavirus Disease 2019 has recommended setting up sanitation areas in all establishments. Mayor Maria Isabel Climaco Salazar, who chairs the task force, said Thursday the move is part of the measures to prevent the entry and spread of the dreaded disease. Salazar said the task force has recommended the Division of City Schools to come up with guidelines on the cancellation of classes. The task force is also looking into the possibility of either canceling or deferring activities that draw huge crowds, including activities for the Holy Week. In Negros Occidental, the Office of Vice Governor and Provincial Board members at the Provincial Capitol Building were closed to the public for disinfection on Thursday afternoon. The cleanup was done after a staff member of a board member has been classified as a potential carrier of COVID-19 infection. Governor Eugenio Lacson said he authorized the personnel to leave their offices earlier than usual because of the development and still classified the employee as a person under monitoring. In Davao, the City Health Office is encouraging those who are coming from Metro Manila to undergo self-quarantine as precautionary measure against the dreaded coronavirus disease. Davao City Health Officer Dr. Josephine Villafuerte said this is to ensure that everyone is safe from the virus. Villafuerte said the city is alarmed by the rising number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Luzon. She is urging Davaoeños to follow the hygiene protocol of frequently washing their hands. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
More stories from the newsroom. ASEAN ministers join hands against the coronavirus disease 2019. And a digitalized Earth Hour campaign was launched for the protection of the environment. We're back after a quick break. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
Alamin kung paano ang tamang pagsusuot ng surgical mask. Una, hawakan ang mask sa strap at siguruhing natatakpan nito ang inyong bibig at ilong. Tandaan, ang may kulay na bahagi ng mask ang dapat nasa labas. Ito lamang ang tamang paraan ng pagsuot nito. Ihulma ang nose piece o maliit na metallic strip ayon sa hugis ng inyong ilong. Iwasan ang paghawak sa inyong ilong at bibig. Kung marumi na ang mask, hubarin ito gamit ang strap at itapon ito sa isang basurahan. Siguruhin ang maayos na paghuhugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. Ang surgical mask ay dapat gamitin ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa baga o mga taong mayroong ubo, sipon at lagnat, mga nag-aalaga sa mga may sakit, at mga healthcare at frontline workers. Maaari ring magsuot nito kung kayo ay pupunta sa matataong lugar. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng coronavirus disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang mga dapat gawin sa lugar ng trabaho laban sa coronavirus disease 2019. Ang mga kumpanya ay dapat magbigay ng face mask sa kanilang mga empleyado. Bukod dito, magbigay kaalaman din patungkol sa COVID-19. Siguraduhing malinis ang kapaligiran. Maglagay ng sabon at hand sanitizer sa mga palikuran. Siguraduhing ligtas at nalutong maigi ang mga pagkain sa kantina. Obserbahan ang kalusugan ng mga empleyado at katrabaho. Kung sakali man na mayroon silang sintomas ng coronavirus disease, gaya ng lagnat, ubot-sipon at hirap sa paghinga, ay agad ipasuri sa doktor. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOC, says aftershocks are expected from the magnitude 5 earthquake that hit Zambales on Friday. The tectonic quake struck 123 kilometers southwest of San Antonio town at around 6 a.m. It had a depth of 27 kilometers. There were no reported intensities and expected damage from the earthquake. Moving to our top global stories, the economic ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations vow to work together to deal with the coronavirus disease 2019. This came as the COVID-19 was declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. The ASEAN economic officials expressed deep concern about the disease and conveyed ministers' sympathies to countries affected worldwide. They also emphasized the importance of ASEAN solidarity when facing such an outbreak and acknowledged ongoing efforts by the individual states, sectoral bodies, as well as other economies in controlling the spread and impact of the virus. The ministers of the 10 ASEAN member countries agreed that restrictions on cross-border movements should be based on public health considerations and should not unnecessarily restrict regional trade. They also agreed to take a collective course of action to mitigate the economic impact of the coronavirus. The 10 ASEAN members include Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. In sports, more leagues in the Philippines are suspended due to the threat of COVID-19. Fans of Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League may need to wait for a while before finding out which teams will make the national finals. Commissioner Kenneth Doremdes on Thursday night said the rubber matches in the MPBL Division Finals are now suspended indefinitely due to the threat of COVID-19. The National Basketball League also announced the postponement of their own playoff matches scheduled this weekend. Marikina and Parañaque will face off in the first game, while Muntinlupa will host Pasig in a doubleheader now to be played on March 21 at the Hoopla Gymnasium. Meanwhile, 4 ASEAN Basketball League teams, including Alab Pilipinas, have asked the league to postpone the ongoing season. The Hong Kong Eastern Long Lions, Formosa Dreamers, and Macau Black Bears also pleaded for the ABL to suspend action due to the rising cases of coronavirus. Many matches scheduled for February and March were called off due to the COVID-19 scare, most of which included either the Long Lions, the Dreamers, the Black Bears, or Alab. And we wrap up the newscast with a digitalized Earth Hour campaign that was launched on Wednesday to further engage the public in protecting the environment. Arlade Gabagani has the report.
The Worldwide Fund for Nature in the Philippines launched a digitalized Earth Hour campaign called Change the Ending to further engage the public in protecting the environment. WWF Philippines encourages the public to switch off lights on the Earth Hour Day, March 28 from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. It says every individual can do something for the environment, not just for that 1 hour of lights off, but beyond. Climate Change Commission's Policy and Research Chief Jerome Ilagan said the government is ready to partner with the rest of the society to make sure we take care of our environment. Earth Hour Ambassadors Mikey Kowanko-Jaworski said each individual has the capacity to contribute to the welfare of the environment. Child Ambassador Sia Vigor said she has already seen the serious effects of environmental problems and that if everyone will start using eco-friendly products and reduce plastic waste, saving the environment would be possible. WWF-PH Executive Director Jose Angelito Palma said the way how people eat their food has an impact on our climate. He said eating exotic cuisines can affect the environment and eventually harm the people, as how the coronavirus is threatening the entire world now. Along with the observance of the Earth Hour, WWF Philippines said it is doing precautionary measures amid the COVID-19 threats. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Laid Kabagani.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Malacanang and other government offices undergo disinfection. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia imposes a temporary travel restriction on the Philippines amid the spread of COVID-19. Workers living in Metro Manila's nearby provinces will be allowed to enter the region upon presentation of valid identification cards. And a digitalized Earth Hour campaign was launched for the protection of the environment. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Bench Bondok. Stay safe and healthy and have a great weekend.